Guy Sports.
Full episode for September 27th, 2025.
And smash that subscribe button.
What's up, boys and girls? Welcome to the podcast. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B, or the One-Tin Soldier. Today, the theme of the week will be receipts. Stuff I've been saying for months, and now some of these receipts are cashing in. I got to talk baseball, including Shohei Ohtani, the show. Got to be in relief. I've been saying this for a while. I told you he should be moved to closer. His last 4 starts, the Dodgers bullpen has screwed him over completely, and they just need to make this decision. But Roberts has finally hinted that they might do it. I'll give you the reasons they need to do it and why they should do it right now.
Do it! Just do it!
NFL Week 3, so I got 3 predictions going into Week 4.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
3 psychic predictions for this Sunday. Chiefs or Ravens, one of those is going to end up the best 1-3 team we've seen in 25 years, not named the Patriots. The Cowboys, oh boy, the Packers are going to come in, and Jerry's team is about to see what the Big D actually looks like with Micah Parsons. A vengeful Fat D is coming.
A big fat D.
For the Dallas Cowboys, Ayo, pause, or whatever the kids say. Not all 3-0s are created equal. Colts and Niners stick out like sore thumbs, as I think Daniel Jones and the Pretenders, known as the Banged Up 49ers, are going to have their new hit song called We Look So Good a week ago. We'll talk more about that. And also, Skinny Luka is now met by skinny Zion Williamson.
Oh, good for you!
Look, I'm glad they got in shape, but I've said for months they can get in shape, and people cried and called it fat shaming and everything else, but they did it, and it wasn't anything.
Are you dieting finally?
It wasn't a miracle. They dieted. They worked out a little bit more. So I'll explain once again why it's not fat shaming for NBA players. It's expectation, and why they should expect them to do this going into the future. But we will start off in baseball because MLB playoffs are here.
Baseball stuff!
It is officially playoff time in MLB starting this Tuesday. The journey to October begins. National League, you got the Lion-ass Brewers now in the playoffs joining Philly. The Dodgers just clinched the NL West, and the Mets are trying to close out the wild card. In the American League, it's been historic in a lot of reasons, including collapses. The Tigers had an 11-game lead, and that's gone. Poof, they've lost 11 of 12, and the Astros have lost 5 straight. But I want to get back to baseball's biggest crown and one big dumper.
See, everybody's got to take a dump.
As the Mariners have become this new feel-good story along with their big hitter, Raleigh, the big dumper, as his new family saw history. And my concern overall that the home run record once again will be tainted by another damn asterisk, and I'll explain what I mean. But in case you missed it, this just happened last night. The big dumper had his big moment. Raleigh, a.k.a. the big dumper, and I love that nickname. Apparently comes from college when his teammates, like to describe it because he had a big fat butt back there, just blasted his 59th and 60th home runs, and the Mariners clinched the American League West for the first time since 2001. Did you know the Seattle Mariners are the only baseball team that's never even been to the World Series? Well, suddenly the dumper has the Mariners believing, and the records he set have been phenomenal just this year. Past Ken Griffey Jr.'s franchise record for home runs of 57. He broke Mickey Mantle's switch hitter record at 54. He set the catcher home run record. He crushed that a long time ago. 48 was the old mark, and he tied MLB history with 11 multi-home run games. He is now the only non-Yankee in American League history to hit 60 home runs, and he was able to do it last night with Mom and Dad watching, and it just ties more into the feel-good story of just like the home run derby when he had his dad actually throwing him out the pitch and his brother was catching, and he won that as well. Go along with the Mariners, never been to the World Series. They're this cool upcoming story here. They got MVP and World Series odds finally in their favor. You have now Dumper about 35% chance, according to the latest polls, to actually win the AL MVP. Got to watch out for the judge in New York. The Mariners apparently have a 12 to 15% shot, according to most Vegas polls and everything, to reach their first World Series ever, possibly win it. There are obviously the questions that usually come at the end of a home run race. Will they actually pitch to him is always a big problem at the end. A lot of these pitchers and teams have pride. They don't want to give up the new American League home run record, and we shall see. But like I said, he's got 4 games to get it done to close out Aaron Judge's 62, and he only needs 2 to do it to tie, 3 to win. And like I said, 11 times this season, he's had multiple home run games, including just last night. He's a streaky home run hitter. He could get it done, but will the bigger concern for me be this? the fans and the media torpedo his chances at being called the home run king.
Damn the torpedoes, or give me death.
Wink, wink. Because in case you didn't know, he is one of the many people that has now been the dreaded users of the torpedo bat. The torpedo bat, the modified yet legal but scientific breakthrough in bats this year that started at the beginning of the season, this huge controversy that I got into. And I said it before, I'll say it again. I have no issue with the torpedo bat because all it is an advancement in the technology that's within the rules. The torpedo bat, basically what they do is they modify it now to each hitter's sweet spot. So it looks more like a bowling pin or a torpedo, but basically they shift the weight closer to the hands for a faster swing, and they move the sweet spot more to where usually you hit the bat. A lot of people say that's cheating, it's modifying the bat, yada, yada, yada. Well, Raleigh, even though he's a switch hitter, actually uses the torpedo bat on both sides. Now, on the left-hand side, he has hit more home runs at a 9.1 home run rate at 38 home runs of his 60. He actually hits more from the right side with a different style torpedo bat with 22 home runs and 180 at-bats. That's actually a 12% rate. He just bats more from the left side. But it's going to now be one of the many things you can add as an asterisk to the home run race. And it is just, I think in my opinion, the most annoyingly contested debate in all of sports, who's the home run king, because as I brought up before, you can go all the way back to the very beginning. Every home run king has an asterisk, and if he breaks Judge's record, he will now join the list. But every home run king has an asterisk. Maris, when he hit 61, well, he got to play 8 more games than Babe Ruth. When McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds hit 66, 70, and 73 respectively, of course, it was steroids. It's the PED era. That doesn't count. When Aaron Judge just set the new record in 62, a lot of people want to give him the crown of the overall home run king because he didn't use PEDs. Well, he had a short porch out there in Yankee Stadium, and other people say, you know what, Barry is still the king. He has 73. And then you can go all the way back to even Babe Ruth, who had the original 60, and I'll requote Daniel Tosh, and he makes a good point. Where's his asterisk? He only got to play against white people.
Whites only, strictly enforced.
Why does that not get brought up more? Why does Babe Ruth not get the same asterisk everyone else does? He got to play in an all-white league. You know, I'm sure Satchel Paige might have been able to take a couple home runs off of his season that year, or, whoever we could have found, as Daniel said, to find a CC Sabathia with a 92-mile-per-hour slider. So every home run king should and does have an asterisk, and unfortunately, even if Raleigh gets it done, and I'm rooting for the Big Dumper, he will now join the ever-infamous list of throwing in some sort of reason why he won't be the king, especially if this torpedo bat, which has been hotly contested, gets taken away in a couple years or so. We'll come back and go, well, that one doesn't count, this one doesn't count. They all don't count, or they all count. I don't care. I think Bonds is the home run king, but I will root for the Big Dumper to at least break Aaron Judge's record. Moving on to the National League, and this is something, like I said, today's about receipts, and I have been saying this from the moment he came back. Shohei Ohtani. As the LA Dodgers remain the best in show, they just clinched the NL West today. Ohtani, 54th home run, as the defending champs have now closed out the rival Padres for the division title. And Ohtani is the best show in sports, especially with Caitlin Clark being out for the season. He is truly the Japanese Babe Ruth. He joined the 50-50 club for home runs and stolen bases last year. Now he joins it for 50 home runs, 50 strikeouts. Fun fact, there are 2 players all-time ever in baseball history that have 50 home runs and any strikeouts at all. Babe Ruth in 1921 had 50 home runs and 3 strikeouts. Shohei Ohtani now has 54 home runs and over 50 strikeouts as well. He's not just Japanese Babe Ruth. He arguably may be better than even he is. And I have been saying this for a while as his pitching has gotten better and better. He needs to become the 9th inning samurai. He should not start. He should finish.
Do it! Just do it!
And it's not just the smart move. It's what's best for the show. The Dodgers bullpen is a mess. Ohtani's throwing a .02 with .47 ERA in his last 4 games. Dave Robert has actually finally at least admitted they want to consider him for relief pitching. But I have said it all year. Make him the closer. Going into the playoffs, this is not a gimmick. This will be a real weapon, so I will explain what Robert said, the stats that prove why they're wasting Shohei Ohtani as a starter. I can even throw a way to work around the Ohtani rule, the catch-22. I'll give you a solution to that. And just overall, again, this is what's best for not only the Dodgers, this is best for baseball, this is for theater, this is for ratings. Forget wasting him as a starter. Let him come in relief to a big hero's welcome, as the Japanese Babe Ruth should. But like I said, let's start off with the first part. Dave Roberts, at least this last week, finally, as I want to quote The Rock, admitted that they have thought about using Shohei in the bullpen, not a starter, in October. Quote, the possibility of Ohtani helping out of the bullpen is something that we've been talking about. They said they've been long open to the possibility of letting him close not every game, but at least a critical game, a la like he did when he struck out his former teammate Mike Trout in the 2023 World Baseball Classic when he represented native Japan. And that was an absolutely cool thing to watch in case y'all missed it. Yeah, former teammates, the two best in the world. Ohtani came in relief. He struck out Trout. Japan went nuts. It was a cool thing. And like I said, the theater of it was almost as impressive as the actual feats. And Roberts also has admitted that the bullpen is shaky, but that Shohei is a routine-driven starter, and the pen and coming out of the pen is an opposite, so there's reasons he still is just saying they're thinking about it. So it's manager speak for maybe, and I still will be screaming this until they do it. It's what is needed to be done.
God damn it, just do it already.
If anyone is finally on my bandwagon, welcome to the damn club. As I said this, I believe in June. As soon as Shohei started pitching again and I saw the limited way they were using him, I was screaming, put him in as the closer.
Initiate flashback!
Dude is throwing freaking gas. I got the highlights here for you. Shohei Ohtani is throwing gas. It's Mariano Rivera with a bat. Can you imagine, in Hollywood of all places, the defending World Series champs don't just have the unicorn, the Japanese Babe Ruth, but they basically have Mariano Rivera with a bat. Not how you start, it's how you finish.
Anyway, back to the present.
It is not how you start, it is how you finish. So at least I have Roberts finally saying it out loud. And this is also in the argument of baseball, a mathematical reason, because most people know there's been some outliers, including the Dodgers lately, but you can't win the World Series with a bad bullpen. You can't win the World Series with a bad bullpen. This is one of the oldest cliches in baseball for a reason. And the Dodgers bullpen currently is only number one in one thing in Major League Baseball, blowing saves. 25 blown saves. And Shohei Ohtani's last 4 starts is no damn different. The numbers do not lie. The LA Dodgers bullpen has officially been a problem all season. But just the last 4 games, Shohei has had a 0.47 ERA in his last 4 outings. 19.2 innings, just 1 run allowed. Meanwhile, they lost 3 of those because the Dodgers bullpen has been bullshit. They have given up 16 earned runs in 16.1 innings during those games for an ERA of 8.94. 23rd versus the Diamondbacks, Shohei pitched 6 shutout innings. Bullpen gave up 5. They lost. September 16th versus the Phillies, Shohei pitched 5 scoreless innings. Bullpen gave up 9. They lost. September 5th versus the Orioles, Shohei pitches 3.2 scoreless innings. Bullpen gives up only 2, but they still lost. Those are all 3 losses that should have been wins. And even more importantly, Shohei's dominance was wasted.
You have wasted our time, sir.
Not to even add to the fact, and is also worth mentioning, they have a good starting rotation. So it's not just that the bullpen is bad, it's that their starters are actually good. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, and Kershaw, who is coincidentally being the one that they've thought about moving to relief. He is still there. He's in his last year. He's got something to prove, I think, because he's always had the choke artist moniker given to him in the playoffs. Let him join the starting rotation. Don't move him to relief. A, you don't want to put a guy that has choke artist issues in the most high-pressure part of the game. And B, I think it's a good chance to let Shohei do what he needs to do. Also, the other thing that if you know about this, you'll scream at me, well, what about the Ohtani rule?
Did you forget about that?
And this is a catch-22, but I do have a workaround from this. In case y'all haven't been following this, a couple years ago they invented the Ohtani rule, which would make it harder for him to come in relief. And the Ohtani rule states that if he starts as a pitcher, he can be a designated hitter and can stay in the lineup even after he stops pitching. However, if he starts as a DH, doesn't start as a pitcher, comes in relief, not only is his designated hitter gone once you take him back out of the pitching rotation, but the DH is gone for the rest of the game for the entire Dodgers organization. So it is obviously more beneficial, and that's why I think one of the reasons they've been starting him. And Ohtani tried to give a workaround saying, hey, I'll go play outfield. I'm Shohei Ohtani. I'm the Japanese Babe Ruth. I'll give away popcorn if I want. I can do anything I want on this goddamn field. And Roberts has laughed that off, saying we're not going to put him in the outfield. But here's my solution to get past the Ohtani rule, because he can still be at the same spot as long as he's pitching. Let him pitch 3 to 4 innings. Let him pitch the most important part of the game, the part the bullpen keeps blowing. Instead of using multiple relievers, let him pitch 3 to 4 innings in relief, and would also help the Dodgers to get rid of this new dumbass dreaded bullpen game thing they've been doing that they got away with last year. If y'all remember Game 4 of the World Series against the Yankees, they basically just punted. They muffed the game. They went and brought in a bunch of no-namers in relief because they wanted to rest their arms for Game 5. And, dude, that was as risky as it can get. Yes, it worked out, but that could have been a momentum shift. You never just want to give away a game in the World Series, but their dilemma was like, well, we need to rest our relievers. They haven't had enough time, and so we'll just kind of throw this game with what they call a bullpen game. And instead of doing that, you don't only solve that problem, you bring in the best player and best pitcher you got. I feel like sometimes I just make too much damn sense, and so I don't even know why the arguments against me are even there. I'll give you the ones I hear, in case you're wondering. The arguments against it and why I don't care. Doctors said that a relief pitcher, there's more adrenaline in the relief innings and they're higher stress. You know, Shohei's coming off his second surgery there. The warm-ups are different. It's not the same kind of wind-up in time that a starter gets versus a reliever. Dave Roberts says because of that, long-term health is more important than short-term saves. I mean, whatever, man. The fact is you're already limiting him to a damn pitch count of 70 to 80 and kind of using him for 4 or 5 innings tops. Why don't you let him split that across 3 innings instead of 5? And, I think worth mentioning, he's throwing a .02, the hardest he's ever thrown. I think his arm is fine. He's at a 0.47 ERA his last 4 starts. I think his arm is fine. And like I said, the damn bullpen has an 8.94 in the last 4 starts, which is horrendous. And not to mention the theater. And yes, I will always be, sports is entertainment, whether you guys like it or not. And man, I still think of some of the great relievers of all time, and they were just pitchers. You have the Japanese Babe Ruth. The show is even worth it to let him come in relief. I think of like Rivera, New York Yankees. When you heard this, that was your ass. I didn't know what to tell you. Metallica, they gave me a couple seconds before they get cranky with me on YouTube.
That's right. Metallica is behind you, dudes. 1,000%.
But you heard Enter Sandman, that's your ass. Like, that meant you were done. I don't like the Mets one, Diaz, as much, but they sure love it. The walkout of it's cute. It doesn't give me the same thing. But I'm going to go back to this. Besides it making sense for the Dodgers mathematically on the field, if you give him his own song and you let him pitch in relief and you help solve the bullpen game dilemma, the script of it, you're literally Hollywood for F's sake. Ohtani's 2 for 4. He's stolen a base. He's hit a home run. Dodgers cling to a 1-run lead. It's the 7th inning. Everyone's excited. The bullpen opens. Give him a walkout. I give him something like this. I found this one. Kind of Japanese, kind of hip-hop. Dodgers up 1. Bullpen's been a problem. Bring out the Japanese Babe Ruth. Bring out the show. The crowd's going nuts. You got the lights coming down. I mean, good God. Do I need to spell this shit out for everybody? This is so much better than letting him pitch 5 innings in the beginning and then watch your bullpen F it up, give up 9 runs, and blow the game. It's bigger than strategy. It's the future of baseball and theater. It solves problems. Bring in Shohei at the end. I am more convinced the more I ramble on about this, the only thing that makes sense is to bring in the show as the 9th inning samurai or the 6th or 9th inning samurai. Whatever you got to do. I'm tired of watching B wasted as a starter. Damn it, Dodgers. Don't just talk about it. Be about it.
Do it! Just do it!
Feel better. Moving on completely. I got to get to the NFL. I got 3 predictions. In honor of now 3 weeks down, I got 3 predictions for Sunday. You guys can see if I'm right. Contenders become pretenders and likely season enders. I got 3 teams and a few more I'm going to get into. But let's see, as Sunday, most likely a lot of y'all will catch this Sunday, how I did on my psychic predictions. You ready?
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
Let's start with the big boy game. This game is way too big for a week 4. The Ravens versus Chiefs. One of these two is going to leave the best 1-3 team ever, arguably last at least 25 years, since the 0-1 Patriots did it a long time ago, and I believe went on to win the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady's never asked.
So one team is going to become, just unfortunately due to the schedule, one of the best 1-3 teams we've ever seen and been in big trouble. I think it's the Chiefs.
And I'd have to say Kansas City.
I really do. I think Chiefs are still living complacent, and Baltimore and Lamar specifically 1-5 against the Chiefs, and I think they got a chance to really prove a point here. The Kansas City fans, I'm not going to say it's time to panic, but you are going to start learning, instead of leaning on the history books, you are going to have to start looking at the new 2025 Chiefs for who they are under a microscope. But I still will say this, and I said it before, I said it at the start of the year, even after their first loss, I'll say it again. In my opinion, the Ravens are the best team in the AFC.
Well, they aren't.
I know they've had 2 tough losses, the Bills and the Lions, and there's some things to look at with what's going wrong with both teams. But the Ravens specifically, that Buffalo loss, not just the Lions loss, is indicative of kind of they're right there, and I know we say that every year, but they're still right there. That loss to Buffalo, they were up 15 with less than 5 minutes left, and they collapsed. That literally happens less than 99.8% of the time. I believe the record was like 3 and 2,312. You usually win that game. I still consider that a fluke. Week 3 versus Detroit, their defense has become a problem, and Detroit did expose it, and this does bleed back into last year, and it is hard sometimes. You look at the Ravens, you see the logo, you think of Ray Lewis and those guys. This defense is not that old defense. The Lions bullied the snot out of the Ravens. I will not take that away. 224 rushing yards, was absolutely just ran over of Montgomery, 151 and 2 touches by himself. That defense of the Ravens has given up 32 points per game. That is bottom tier in the league. They got injuries piling up now. Their defensive tackle, Nnamdi Madubuike, is out with a neck injury. So their defense has been, I'll admit, statistically looks pretty terrible, but I will also point out 2 of those 3 games, they played the Bills and the Lions, 2 of the best offensive teams in the entire NFL. The bigger fluke to me, besides even the Buffalo collapse, though, is this new Derrick Henry thing where King Henry is fumbling the ball. He has fumbled the ball every game so far this season. You see him having a meltdowns on the sideline. You can tell it's starting to get into his head, and it's obviously unusual to see Derrick do it, especially in such big times. The big fumble versus Buffalo, the big fumble versus Detroit, both led to scoring drives the other direction that were just absolutely nails in the coffin there. But I still, it's a fluke, man. I am not going to start saying Derrick Henry is suddenly fumble prone, and I think people forgot who Derrick Henry is. This dude is an absolute manimal and one of the best running backs I've ever seen in football. 6'3", 247 pounds, runs a 4.54 40, and has once been quoted seen as squatting 500 pounds at least 10 times. There are few people stronger, tougher, and faster combined than Derrick Henry, and I don't think that it was a coincidence that he was the one we used for. Remember last year when the viral question came out, how many 5-year-olds would it take to tackle Derrick Henry? And everyone had different ideas. I said 100, and I still stick to that theory because the average 5-year-old is only 3'7" tall and only weighs 41 pounds. In my opinion, and people had more, I would say at least 100 5-year-olds, and you would have to be willing to sacrifice 5 to 10. Like, I don't know where you'd find 5 to 10 throwaway 5-year-olds, but you would have to go into this. Like, if you're able to feed Derrick PCP and hypnotize him, make him think that he has to score this touchdown, and you had to use only 5-year-olds to stop him, I would literally have to line up, I would say 100 5-year-olds from the 40 to the 10-yard line, Civil War kind of style of just like walls of children to kind of slow him down. And again, after that first line or two, you're losing 5 to 10. Like 5 to 10 kids are just going to be like, hey, we still got 90 left. You know what I mean? Like, that's the amount of strength, speed that we use as an example because it was Derrick Henry. So this idea that he's fumble prone and that's going to continue, I just don't buy it. I don't see it. Now, the Chiefs, on the other hand, look complacent. And I know they do this a lot. They haven't done it this bad, but they've had slow starts, and it's obviously just human nature to kind of, we've won some Super Bowls, we keep getting ways to figure it out, we'll be fine. But Mahomes isn't Mahomesing, and I think it's an issue more than people want to let on. And even I want to go, well, it's Patrick Mahomes. Well, through 3 games, 669 passing yards, that's 13th in the NFL. He has 3 touchdowns only, which is tied for 20th. This is a big one. His 59% completion rate, which is where it's at this year, is worse than Russell Wilson, who just got benched by the Giants. I'm going to give you that one more again. The greatest quarterback we've seen, not named Tom Brady, his completion rate is actually currently lower than Russell Wilson, who's played so bad, the shitty Giants just benched him.
Wow, that sucks tremendously.
I get it's we got some history to lean on here. That's not good. He is not up to Mahomes' standard. He's also having to run a lot because the run game isn't helping him out. They're only getting 108 rush yards per game, and the offense just looks flat. Both Philly and the Chargers, who are obviously very good teams, you could make the same argument. What you said for Baltimore, you had Detroit and you had Buffalo. Why don't you make the same argument when they had to play Philly and the Chargers? Fair enough, but it's not just Pat. The whole offense, they just look middle of the pack. They look flat. I know they're missing Rashee Rice to suspension. I know Xavier Worthy, he got hit by his own teammate, Travis Kelce, and that was a weird fluke, and he's been out for a couple games. He should be coming back. But even Kelce's not Kelceing. You talk about complacency. I think Kelce's had one foot out the door from the start of the season. He's been worried about engagements with tailors and getting the right photographs and doing podcasts. He's already going to be in Canton. I don't think he takes the season as serious as he should have, or at least the start of it, and you're seeing it. But their offensive line, wide receiver depth, they're just not the same. So I got the Ravens winning this, I think, kind of easy. I really do. I think Baltimore, who's been in every game, they were seconds from beating Buffalo, has a better offensive line. They got better receivers, better running backs, better tight end, better overall talent. Lamar has clearly been better than Mahomes this year, at least through the first 3 games. He leads the NFL, 9 passing touchdowns to Mahomes' 3. Passer rating 141.8 versus 83.4. Completion percent of 72 versus 59. They have been better in every way, and the longer they protect the ball and King Henry doesn't fumble, to me, they are still the most complete team in the AFC. Now, what'll be interesting going forward as you look at both their schedules, I think the Ravens will not only right the ship, but get back to a pretty high record pretty quickly. I see them going 4-2-5-1, moving back to 7-3. The Chiefs, on the other hand, I could see them going 3-3 over their next 5 or 6. There ended up being 4-6, and you really got to start looking at what do we got here? Is this a problem? Are they going to have to finally be a wild card team? Do the Chargers move too far ahead and separate from them in their division? It'll be interesting to see, but at least for today, I have the Ravens winning. They stabilized to 2-2. Chiefs do get to 1-3, and I won't say it's time to panic, but it is time to start worrying and stop looking at past glory and start looking at what you have this year. On the next one, and this one I got to get to. I think this one's going to be huge.
You will be destroyed!
The 1-2 Cowboys are going to get their ass kicked on Sunday as they were left barely standing, getting embarrassed by Caleb in Chicago. The pissed off 2-1 Packers are coming to AT&T Stadium, and they're bringing the recently traded Micah Parsons with them. And even though Jerry said there's no hard feelings, although he's not going to give him a tribute video, I think a eulogy is going to be more appropriate, as I entitled this Parson, this ass-whooping Alice, because Dallas has no D left. This is going to get ugly. This is going to get ugly quick. The Packers are coming to cream the Cowboys in their own house in AT&T Stadium. Vegas has them only favored by 6.5. I think they're winning by 14 easy. Packers just got embarrassed by the Browns. Now they're ready to make a point. Dallas is about to, in my opinion, start one of the bigger historic slides toward the bottom that I don't think a lot of y'all were expecting, and it's all going to be started by their former best player, Micah Parsons, who a lot of people have now dubbed the Alice Cowboys appropriately, because without Micah, Cowboys got no D.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no...
It's kind of a cliche joke, but man, it is true. You look at Dallas's defense, they have become a disaster without Micah Parsons. Literally the worst in football. 397.7 yards allowed, third most in the NFL. 288 passing yards allowed, dead worst in the NFL. 9 yards per pass, worst in the NFL. 30.7 points per game allowed, sixth most in the NFL. 53.7 opponent third down conversion. Teams are converting third downs 53.7% of the time against the Cowboys. Again, worst in the NFL. -5 turnover differential. Worst. Do you get where I'm going? They suck on defense. And yes, Diggs is healthy and Bland is going to return, but I saw it myself. I walked to SoFi. I'm able to do that. I saw the preseason game versus the Chargers. This was a bad team that was shoestrung by a few stars of Dak and CeeDee and Micah, and they really just, around the rest of them, the talent was clearly inferior. They just have too many holes of too many weak spots to fill. They lack talent all over the field. And yes, their offense has had some bright spots, but with a historic bad defense the Cowboys had, it is only going to get worse. I will quickly shout out the offense. Javonte Williams looks great, 227 rushing yards, 5.1 yards per carry, third best in the NFL with 4 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott has a 71.4 completion rate. He looks like he's actually pretty good. CeeDee Lamb was on par and on track to be good again, but he just got hurt, and we'll talk about that. And the red zone offense had been finally, this has been a problem for the Cowboys for years, was finally doing well when they actually did make it there. 83% conversion rate in the red zone this year has been pretty phenomenal.
At least that's good.
But CeeDee's down, and it's just hard to say things can get much worse if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. That is an absolute gut punch. That high ankle sprain is not only keeping CeeDee Lamb out for the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to linger. It's going to be with him for a while. They won't IR him because they literally are hopeless without CeeDee Lamb. And even Jerry, who first tried to downplay it, has finally said, yeah, dude, he's probably out for at least a month. We'll see if the mercurial George Pickens, Tolbert, and Turpin can catch up. But they are struggling and limping coming into this after getting their ass kicked by the Bears of all people. And the Packers and their defense with the newly acquired Micah Parsons are monsters.
Kill the quarterback. Hit the tight end so hard his girlfriend dies. Kill everybody.
Micah Parsons has turned Green Bay's defense to one of the nastiest units in the entire NFL. They are third in yards allowed per game at 232.3. They are seventh in passing yards allowed, and they only allow 64.3 rushing yards a game so far and only 14.7 points so far. First in the league, and only let other teams convert on their third downs 31% versus the Cowboys 53%. They stop you on third down. They don't let you run. They don't let you pass. They don't let you score. Oh, by the way, they had at least 4 sacks in their first 2 games. Micah Parsons has been leading that. He is the leading sack getter so far in the NFL. Do you see where I'm going? All signs point towards Cowboys. This is going to get bad, and you kind of deserve it. And just get ready. You are going to slide off a goddamn cliff. This is not just one bad matchup. This is the start of your collapse. I thought Vegas was too nice to you at the start of the season. 6.5 wins over under. You're out of your mind. You're way closer to the bottoms, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Titans, the Jets. That is somewhere where the Cowboys live. I look at their schedule and I go, how the hell do you get to 7 wins? After they lose this week to the Packers, you got Jets and Panthers, which might be okay. Then after that, Commanders, Broncos, Cardinals, Raiders, and then you're going to lose every one of these games. Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. 4 wins, to my opinion, tops, maybe 5. Have you watched this team? Have you seen this defense? The Packers are coming in to hammer the Cowboys. Micah Parsons is going to wreck his old team in prime time. Dallas is going to slide into irrelevance starting this Sunday night. And the nickname Alice Cowboys is probably going to stick around for a while because you got no D. Your defense sucks.
Your new defense system sucks.
Maybe go get Arch Manning. Is that still, even though he's been... Is that the new thing? Can we go get Arch Manning out to save the day next year? Ironically, you looked like, as the Dallas Cowboys defense, the Sam Houston versus Arch Manning. That's what you made Caleb Williams look like. It looked like he was just beating up on a JV team. Oh, this is J-Love and the Packers are going to kick your ass and show you what a big fat D is all about. Pause.
A big fat D.
Last one. 3 3-0s will leave only 3 chasing the 72 Dolphins' perfect season.
Onward to victory! No one can defeat us now!
We have 6. It's going to get down to 3, in my opinion, by the time Monday hits. Eagles and Bucks, because they're the 3-0 teams, they're going to play each other. But Colts and 49ers, D. Jones and the beat-up 49er Pretenders are going to fall off the 3-0, and they're going to start their slide back to mediocrity. And as I've told you before, a lot of times you guys, we get all excited. It's NFL. You got every week to wait. 3-0 starts don't mean squat. 2023 Eagles were 10-1. They lost in the wild card to the Bucs. 2020 Steelers started 11-0. They collapsed. 2015 Falcons 5-0, missed the playoffs, and on and on and on. So there are 6 teams that are perfect: the Bills, the Colts, the Chargers, the Eagles, the 49ers, and Buccaneers. And I'm telling you right now, the Colts and 49ers are about to get exposed, and their march to the middle will start after this Sunday. And the Colts, I almost want to say you got to be kidding me.
You can't be serious.
I mean, they're fool's gold at 3-0, more than any team I've seen in a while. Just look who they played. They played the Dolphins, they played the Broncos, and the Titans. Do you know what their combined record is? I'll tell you. 1-8. 1-8. They okay, great. They've won 3 games against teams with a combined record of 1-8. You don't think the Ravens or the Chiefs or a lot of other good teams would also be 3-0 right now? And yes, Daniel Jones suddenly looks like the next Tom Brady. He's had 0 giveaways. He's had no interceptions. He's had no fumbles. It's the first time in the Super Bowl era we've seen a quarterback start like this. 111.7 passer rating, 71% completion. He's top 5 in everything in the NFL. He's again played the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Titans for a combined record of 1-8. I don't care. At least Jonathan Taylor, who is a hell of a running back, you can at least point to has had some history and is balling his ass off. He leads the NFL rushing yards, 338. He leads the league in scrimmage yards, 431. He's tied for touchdowns right now with 4. He is second in yards after contact, so even when they do get on him, he's pushing right through them. He's a bad boy. I am not saying Jonathan Taylor isn't a bad boy, but what I will say, Jonathan Taylor's been there for the last 4 years, and in those last 4 years before this little 3-0 start, their combined record was 30, 37, and 1. So, okay. I really, I'm waiting for, the big, what do you got for me? And Daniel Jones, you guys, you got to be kidding me. Daniel Jones, can I say needs a bigger sample size than 3-0 versus shit teams? Career record of 24, 44, and 1. And in just last year, this was a fun fact with Daniel Jones, threw more touchdowns to the other team because he threw 3 pick-sixes than his own team. Only 2 touchdowns through the first 10 weeks. I'll give you that again. He threw more touchdowns to the defense because he didn't just throw interceptions. He threw 3 pick-sixes. He only completed 2 touchdowns to his own receiver, and now he's beat 3 teams with a combined record of 1-8. And I'm supposed to pee my pants because he's suddenly in the Colts. Look. The difference between top 4 teams that I talked about and the Colts and like a Daniel Jones, I brought this up before again, the matrix test. The top 4 teams, the Eagles, the Bills, the Bucs, even the Chargers now, there's something to be said about they have the quarterback that's not just their leader, but I call it the matrix test. They know thyself. If you remember in that movie, The Oracle, when she's talking to Neo, says, I want to tell you a little secret. Being the one, it's like being in love. No one needs to tell you. You just know it, just through and through, balls to bone.
Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love. You just know it, through and through, balls to bones.
It's an explanation that you kind of need to know and buy into your own BS so everyone around you and your talent can hit a certain level. The top 4 teams I give credit to that are actually legit 3-0 contenders, again, Bills, Chargers, Bucs, Eagles have that. They all have the same thing. Hurts and Allen have proven themselves to where they know thyself. Baker Mayfield and Herbert are really starting to push. Baker had a tough start, but is able to been figuring out. He seems to he just has a different swagger, and people have been talking about it.
It was that moment in the game, you took a pretty hard hit. And, it looked like you could have been seriously hurt, and you sprang right back up and just started jawing with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Just what's the mentality like in those moments for you?
We don't take any shit. That's about it.
I was, again, in SoFi when Herbert threw that amazing touchdown versus the Broncos just the other day. He looks the part finally. I am not putting Daniel Jones in that category after beating 3 1-8 teams combined. I'm just not. And it's more than just a 3-0. It's an idea that when you're that guy and you're that quarterback and your team is elite for a reason, you know it the same way you know your age or your birthday. You know what I mean? Like if somebody said your birthday was March 15th and it wasn't, would you have any problem going, no, it's not? I know exactly. That's how much you have to know you're the man to be the quarterbacks that I'm talking about, the Allenses, the Hurts, and now maybe the Mayfields and the Herberts seem to be stepping into it. You got to know it like you know your height, your weight, your birthday. Like, I just know it. I got bigger things to worry about. I already know I'm the man. The team knows it too. I do not put Daniel Jones in that category. And after all this ranting, by the way, he gets the Rams. Rabbit, do you know how to rabbit, yeah. And as much as I'm giving the Chargers love, I still think the Rams are the best team in Los Angeles, a real defense. He's going to get his ass kicked. 49ers, I'll just make this quick. You're snake bit again with injuries. I don't know what y'all did. I don't know who killed a baby in a past life. Y'all are the most cursed team I've seen in a minute. 49ers, injuries. Y'all really do feel cursed. Nick Bosa, just out again for the season, torn ACL. Brock Purdy is still on the sidelines right now, toe injury and shoulder injury. Now you got Ricky Pearsall coming off a gunshot a couple years ago. He's now got knee soreness. Jaquan Jennings is out last week with ankle and shoulder. Your backup quarterback, Mac Jones, to back up Brock Purdy, he has a knee injury now. He's been limited in practice. Christian McCaffrey, they just got him out of his full body cast. You know, basically, he's got a calf issue. He didn't practice Wednesday. Trent Williams, your star left tackle, knee. Jesus Christ, what did y'all do? What did somebody in the 49ers organization do to the world to get the karmic just ass-kicking y'all get year to year? You've survived 3-0. You won't survive the Jaguars. The Jaguars are tough. They're gritty. They're coming for blood. They're number one in turnovers created in the entire NFL with 9. League best interceptions of 7 so far. Also just had an ugly win versus Houston, but they showed they have grit and are able to pull it out. They're a gritty, tough team who likes to turn over the ball. Your starting quarterback's out. Your backup's hurt. You're injured all over the place. You're going to lose. Colts are going to lose. And the only legit ones will be standing will be the Bills, the Eagles, the Chargers, and I'll put the Bucs in that category at least for a little bit longer, but one of them is going to lose as far as the Eagles and the Bucs when they play each other. So I will say the legit standards to go chase the 72 Dolphins would be the Bills, the Eagles, and I'm starting to think about the Chargers. I'm putting them there, and then I put the Bucs underneath, but the Daniel Jones-led Colts and the Niners will be gone after this week. Last thing.
I have one more thing to say.
Switching because NBA is coming up soon, I will give a quick shout out, I guess, to now Skinny Zion joining Skinny Luka.
Cry me a river, you fat baby. You disgust me.
I guess, but for both their sakes, I hope that it is sunk in because both Luka and Zion, because of their weight issues, were at a crossroads. But the one thing I can't do, and I've talked about this before, is give the top star millionaire athlete in his mid-20s an attaboy for getting in shape.
You're supposed to, you dumb.
Get the F out of here with that nonsense. So I'm calling this Skinny Luka, Skinny Zion, and fat contracts. It's expectation. It's not fat shaming.
Oh, I'm a hot case, he says.
And I've talked about this, like I said, ad nauseum over and over in the last couple years. There's a difference between calling your friend fat and calling an NBA player fat. And both Luka and Zion over the last few years have been fat.
Hey, don't call me fat.
Matter of fact, here's a little fun fact to go with the fatness. Any people that are 6'9", pushing 300 pounds in the NBA is inexcusable, which is both where Luka was rumored to be and where Zion has been confirmed to be. 6'9" and under and getting somewhere close to 300 pounds is not just inexcusable, it's almost impossible to find. Search the internet.
I can't find it anywhere.
Try to outbest me. I looked through all of NBA history trying to find anyone else 6'9" or under that was listed anywhere close to like 280, 290 pounds. Besides Zion and Luka being rumored that way, the only one I ever found is some guy, Kenneth Lofton Jr., and that's it. It's the only other player. Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound, was listed somewhere usually 250, 260, 270 tops. Even Charles Barkley, at under 6'9", never pushed 300 pounds. Luka was rumored to be there, and Zion was actually there. And y'all got on my nerves because if I called him fat in 2025, I'm a bad guy because it's body shaming when it's a millionaire athlete who gets paid specifically to stay in shape. That this isn't modeling. Like, we can't just shift to plus-size players and give them like a pat on the back and go, oh, you're still beautiful. No, you're not. It's injury-prone. It's disrespectful to your job. Don't even get me started on that. That stuff drives me nuts. To this day, if I'm buying underwear, I swear to God, I better not be on the cover with my gut hanging out. You know what I mean? And just sitting there. I want some 20-year-old ripped 8-pack kid who I can try to aspire to be and never achieve. That's who I want to see on my box when I buy a 6-pack underwear. I do not want to see me like, oh, I got a dad bod. Isn't that sexy? No, it's not. Put some damn clothes on.
Put your clothes back on!
Getting back to what I've been talking about, though, both of them got skinny, and it's not rocket science how they got there. Luka has finally done it, and he needed a push to get there, but if you've seen, that went viral about a month ago. Lakers fans are very excited to see skinny Luka, and he's not just trimmed. He just admitted it's not rocket science. It's working out and dieting. The Dallas, when they traded him, one of the big reasons they says, like, dude, look, as good as he is, this guy just does not take the game seriously. He doesn't want to diet. He doesn't want to work out. He sits on his fat ass in the offseason, and he plays himself into shape. It bit us in the finals, and we think it's going to bite him in the future. We're not paying this dude $70 million a year, whatever the Supermax is going to be. And so he got the kick in the ass he needed, and congrats to him. But when they asked him what he did, again, don't mean to surprise you. He said he did intermittent fasting, did 250 grams of protein a day, cut out gluten, sugar, added more circuit training, more mobility work, and court drills. And lo and frickin' behold, Luka is skinny. After years of me saying, oh, Luka's fat, and y'all going like, oh, you can't say that.
You saying Luka's fat?
Can't call him fat. It's not fair. I'm not talking about Lucille from Accounts Receivable. I'm talking about a 25-year-old star player. So Zion has finally, this is the new one, this is why I brought it up. Zion has finally put his money where instead of his mouth is, finally, and valued his contract, the Pelicans, and being in shape over donuts. The photo shoot has been going viral, and in case you missed it, you can look. I mean, the kid looks great. I've even heard rumors of Ozempic. That's how easy it is for these guys to lose weight when they want to lose it. There are some people actually claiming Zion, he's on Ozempic. No, he did what everyone else does. That's a 25-year-old stud athlete. He got off his fat ass, he got on a diet, and he worked out more. Look, his weight has always been the issue. Like I said, drafted at 6'6", being 300 plus was truly historic, and it affected his actual ability to play. Only 214 of 472 games total in his career, only 45%. I'll attribute 80, 90% of those, other than a fluke injury here or there, into the fact you just can't carry that much weight in a cardio-heavy sport. And when it got confirmed for me is when the Pelicans had to write literally the fat clause. First time I heard of this ever in the history of ever when it comes to NBA players. He had a $197 million extension. They had to give him a fat clause that said, dude, we're going to put it in writing. If you have a weight and body fat percentage over 295, we will lose your guaranteed money. And he actually lost the guaranteed money, not because of the fat clause, but because there was language also about lack of availability, which I think was actually directly connected to weight that has already made his money non-guaranteed. And so he was looking again at losing more money. And over the summer, he got a little mature. But 3 simple steps. He worked out. They said boxing, field sprints, random circuit trainings, kind of switch it up a little bit. 2 on-court sessions a day, plus flexibility work, extra mentoring from trainers and stuff, actually using the facilities and the people around him. What a novel concept. He dieted. He went to, instead of restriction diet, which really isn't smart for most people, he went to smarter choices. He ate what he needed to eat, but he ate lean proteins, chicken, fish, whole grains, fruits, veggies, cut out sugar, fried foods, and junk. And he got hydrated more and did meal prep. And then he also, again, got his support system around him. But once again, the guy y'all said, oh, he can't lose the weight. It's a body type issue, Brett. You don't know what you're saying, yada, yada, yada. He looks great to the point y'all think he's on Ozempic. And he's even said, I really feel a shift in my body. Haven't felt this way since college or high school. It feels good to feel good.
We came up with a plan, and from boxing to working out on the football field a lot to just different random workouts. And during that time frame last year, I really felt a shift in my body to where I would look at him and go, dude, it feels good to feel good. I haven't felt like this since college, high school, just where I can walk in the gym and I'm like, I feel good.
And it also probably feels good for him that he literally gets to guarantee 20% of his salary that was up in jeopardy due to his weight if he couldn't make the weigh-in. So millions of dollars in his pocket, and it keeps him on the floor, hopefully, and out of street clothes. But other than that, I will give you like, hey, you did your job.
Oh, good for you.
Again, I'm not going to pee my pants because an athlete finally got on a diet, especially one that's the max paid player on the team. And I never want to hear it again. I don't want to hear the words body shaming when I'm talking about pro athletes. I am not talking about your neighbor at Planet Fitness. This is an NBA star, elite trainers, chef, medical staff, literal contract clauses saying you can't get too fat. I will not hand out flowers for doing your job and getting in shape. I will say I hope that you can continue it in the future, and good luck this season. 573 million reasons combined to keep these two idiots from staying off sugar, and it took them like 6 years to do it. And I'm supposed to go, duh. Not doing it. But I do have to go. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see if my predictions are right. We'll see what happens with the Dodgers if they move Shohei to the closer as I close out this show. I'll talk to you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.
Tricky Guy Sports.